Oh my God. Becky, look at their butts. They don't have any holes. They look like one of those Ken doll girlfriends. But you know, who understands Barbies? 2 cheeks, no hole. They look like total Ostomates. I mean, they're butts. There's no hole. Are they just 2 best friends without buttholes? Like, how do they poop? I mean, gross. Look, they just got bags.
We got poop bags and we cannot lie. It's so great that we did not die. We're 2 best friends with no holes in our ends and a bag around our waist. We just smile and we pull up tough even though our butts are stuffed. We don't poop in the jeans we're wearing. Our stories we are sharing. So Danny, Danny,
yeah?
You have a healthy butt?
No.
Well, shake it.
Shake it?
Shake it.
Shake it.
Shake that unhealthy butt. We got bags. We got bags. Yeah, baby. When it comes to intestines, we ain't got much. Danny G's at 15 feet, and I count mine in inches.
Wait, what?
Bags. We got bags. It's time for DBI Live. Here are your hosts, Danielle and Joe. Hi!
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Joe.
And
we're double bagging it. 2 best friends.
With 0 buttholes between the 2 of us.
She has ulcerative colitis.
He's got Crohn's disease.
And we both have.
Permanent ileostomies.
Woo-hoo.
I've never sang that before, but it felt right. It just felt right to sing it. Permanent ileostomies.
And if we've learned anything in the last year, it's, hey, if it feels right, do it.
It's fine. It's fine. But
Yeah.
hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful Wednesday night. A wacky Wednesday night.
A wacky Wednesday. Every Wednesday is wacky, and today here in Central Ohio, it's also a beautiful.
It was
and
so
wacky
nice
day.
out. We went and took a little walk before our thing. This is my walk, windy here.
Oh, this is just the way I woke up this morning.
It works. It works. But
Yeah.
anyways,
You know
we're
what's
happy
funny
to have you here.
is I'm getting like I'm 47, right? But I'm getting old man ear hair, except it's coming out of the side of my face because it's my sideburns are doing something very crazy here. It's like all anyway.
Why don't you tell them what I called you today?
I can't say
many
that.
names.
I can't say that on live No.
No, his hair today, when I witnessed it, it was, now, just take a moment with me, folks. Imagine, because it's a little bit better now. Again, I can't talk, but imagine if Ben Franklin and one of those crazy-haired penguins, I thought they were emperor penguins, but they're not. It was like rock hopper penguins, but you know, the ones that have the like feathers like this? It was a combination between Ben Franklin and one of those penguins today.
Something maybe like, I don't know what that is. But
no one knows.
Yeah,
but anyways, that's not why we're here.
No, it's not why we're here.
It's not why we're here.
We're here because it's Wednesday. It's DBI Live. And we have a very,
DBI Live.
very, very special guest with us tonight. As you saw from the title.
There we go. There's the title.
We have Danielle.
Not me.
We have 2 Danielles tonight.
Joe, can you handle 2 Danielles?
Danielle squared.
Yay! So fun.
We were talking before the show, and our guest Danielle offered a way to help keep them both straight by calling her by her nickname. But that's also Danielle's nickname.
Only for a few select people.
So I'm just gonna call her Joey.
There we go.
I'm gonna call her Joey.
We just renamed Danielle.
Yeah, that'll keep it straight.
I want to give myself a new name.
What?
I am Mildred. Yeah, it's fine. So Joe, March. It's not only colorectal cancer awareness month,
or Women's History Month.
There's a whole lot of things. It's Nutrition Month, National Nutrition Month.
It is, and that's we're so fortunate to have Danielle here with us.
We're not just fortunate; we're honored to have Danielle here with us.
We are honored. She's a registered dietitian nutritionist, and she's focusing her specialty on Crohn's and colitis. So,
but not just Crohn's and colitis. That's just a specialty.
Well, it is a specialty, right? Absolutely. But
we'll let her tell more about herself.
She will, and are you ready? Do you want to bring her in?
Hailing from San Diego, California, this is our friend Danielle. Welcome.
Yay!
Hi, thank you both so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're very excited to have you here.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. It's so great to be able to connect with you, not just over the social media, but in person, if you will, right?
This is as much as in person as we're gonna get today. But
That's fair. It is super cool that I'm in California and you're in Ohio, and we can, chat together.
Yeah,
we love it.
Yeah, it's great. So why don't you welcome to our humble abode, and please introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm a virtual registered dietitian nutritionist. And really, my interest in nutrition grew after college when my mom developed 3 perforations in her colon after taking pain meds and steroids for a rare autoimmune reaction. Her condition was called transverse myelitis, but from complications of that disease, she needed 1 foot of her distal ileum removed and 1 foot of her proximal colon removed. So 2 feet of her intestines taken out. And she wound up with an ileostomy that was ultimately reversed after 6 months. But even on parenteral nutrition or the IV nutrition, she lost 55 pounds and developed malnutrition. And I was her primary caregiver for 2 years during that time, and I could see how powerful nutrition played a role in her survival, let alone well-being. And, my interest in gut health increased when I met my now husband who has Crohn's disease. He's a 6 foot tall guy. Oh, yeah. Woo! He weighed 127 pounds at his lowest due to symptoms of the disease. And he literally became afraid to eat because he associated all foods with pain, diarrhea, and discomfort. And he also struggled with complications like iron and B12 deficiency. So since we've been together, I'm proud to report that he's gained a healthy amount of weight. He's 175 pounds now, and he feels a lot better and has enough energy to make it through the day. But understanding the link between nutrition and gut disease prompted me to obtain my master's in nutritional sciences, while concurrently enrolled in the didactic program of dietetics, which is a fancy name, but it's the program that allows you to become a registered dietitian nutritionist. And I've really realized with my mom's condition and husband's condition that nutrition looks so different for each person and each disease. And, just seeing on a personal level and professional level that, actually, that kind of relates to National Nutrition Month's theme this year, personalize your plate. There's really no one size fits all for nutrition. So, everybody's unique, and different bodies and different people have really unique bodies and conditions and nutrition goals and needs and, backgrounds and tastes.
Absolutely. We always say that's one of the questions we get all the time when there's anybody newly diagnosed with IBD or who is going to receive an ostomy or has just received an ostomy. They're always like, what's your number one thing to tell us? Like, what's your number? And it's always, do not compare your journey to other people's, because yours will be, it's like a snowflake. Everybody, we can have the same disease and have completely different paths. So 100%. I'm sure nutrition is even more so.
Exactly. You're definitely right on. With IBD, Crohn's and colitis, there isn't one nutrition prescription for everyone. The gut just seems to tolerate different foods differently. So, for my husband, he can't tolerate red meat or dairy, but I'm working with a client right now who that's what she does best with. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's like right now. I mean, I could live on bacon and cheese. Let's just be real. That's possibly my favorite thing to consume. And then some people can't eat that.
You
So
do live on bacon and cheese.
I 100% do. Might be a little bit of a problem.
That's great. Before we go on, I forgot to do a little housekeeping at the top.
Oh yeah, let's housekeep.
I forgot to do the housekeeping at the top. This is our standard disclaimer. This is our standard disclaimer here. We always, as we talk about our experiences. We're patients, just sharing our experiences. Obviously, Danielle, on the other side of, not this Danielle, that
California Danielle.
Danielle's actually a registered dietitian, but still, what the things we talk about tonight, should not be construed as any kind of medical advice. These are just from our experiences, and you should consult your medical professionals before making any kind of changes in your own personal medical or diet regimen. So
I'm glad that you say it, because I never can get it out that eloquently. Thank you, Joe. I have one more other piece of housekeeping.
Okay.
Can you put the comments back on, please?
I can.
So we can see the comments on this side. Anyways, if you guys are there, we know you're there. If you're just listening, drop a hello, a hi, so we can see who's on the other side. And we'll let Danielle get back to her stuff. But when you have questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and we'll put them up and hopefully get through as many as we can today. So sorry, Danielle, for the interruption.
Oh, no, I'm so excited for this to be interactive. I feel like it will be more interesting for everyone if I don't just blab away the whole time, and we can really focus on, the nutrition issues on your mind. But yes, I would love to reiterate what you both beautifully said. I'm not a doctor. I am a health professional, and a registered dietitian works in conjunction with the healthcare team. So, it's definitely important with all of these nutrition concepts we're going to talk about tonight to really talk to your doctor and your personal registered dietitian nutritionist to make sure what you're doing is safe and right for your body.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's high five, because I feel like we haven't done it yet. It's one of our favorite things to do.
I know I'm going to have questions.
Wait.
Yay! It's so sad to just high five myself.
Do that again.
Hold on, ready? We're doing like a 3.
Do it again.
What are you doing,
do it again.
Joe? Joe is there for 5.
I was going to make the sound effect.
I just realized I'm still wearing my infusion band. I'm going to go ahead and take this moment to take it off. All right, go on.
Yeah, so I know I'm going to have questions, and obviously we'll open it up to anybody watching to ask your dietary questions. And Danielle, just as a point, you're open to any kind of dietary questions, because we know we have people on here who aren't just IBD. They may have cancer as their history, or any other number of conditions. So, or they may just be healthy as a horse and have a regular dietitian.
Joe, are you trying to tell me that some people in our audience still have buttholes?
And some people are horses. So
the horse nutrition, I may not be the right gal for.
Hey, I mean, who is? Hey.
Hey, there he is, putting in a joke. It takes me like 30 seconds to understand.
Excellent. I'm going to pop back here. Actually, you've got a couple comments coming in here. Carol, I'm going to put her back up here. Carol said she's looking forward to hearing discussion. Struggles with diet and weight as well. So, Carol, if you have any questions, or if Danielle, if you have any comment on that in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like weight management for a healthy person is hard enough, and when you throw in a health condition, I'm not sure, Carol, what exactly you're dealing with, but then it's just a whole nother layer of complications, and it can get confusing when you're seeing, different weight loss recommendations or weight gain recommendations in the media, and, say you have a gut problem, and it's like, well, I can't eat that food. What do I do, kind of thing. So it's super common to struggle with weight. And, you know, I feel like for a lot of gut diseases, we talk about weight loss and malnutrition a lot, but weight gain and, wanting to lose weight is a thing too. So um, I find that some of my clients don't really know what their nutrient needs really are. Like, is a 2,000 calorie diet right for everybody? Probably not. I mean, I'm 5 feet. That that may be more than I need. Um, but calorie needs, protein needs, micronutrient needs like iron and B12 change based on a lot of different factors. So once you know what your body's needs are, then you can kind of focus on goals like weight gain or weight loss.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Yeah. Knowledge is power, and as we said a couple times here, everyone's different. So you need to find out what your baseline is and what your needs are and such.
And speaking on that, before we get to questions, our friend Sonia coming in to us from Australia just said, "You are the first one that has openly said we eat different foods. Loving the live. I don't have a butthole." Thank you, Sonia. One of our butthole-less friends.
And our well wishes to you, Sonia. Sonia just, I believe, was in the hospital. So I hope you're healing and recovering well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you be back into the questions. We do have some questions, I think.
Yeah, I want to touch back on Carol since we were talking with Carol. Carol put another comment in here. Carol is underweight. She has ileostomy, and so much food upsets her digestive system.
Well, gosh, it sounds like you've identified maybe some of the foods that are your trigger foods and cause you issues. So that's a step above a lot of people I work with, just to kind of know your own gut like that. So that's definitely a helpful place to start. When you can't eat that many foods, like right now I'm working with a client who has cut out 17 different foods from her diet because they just cause her symptoms and she's afraid to eat them. So I would say it's really important to try, if you can, or if not, work with a health professional to really see if you're missing nutrients from your diet. A common one could be iron deficiency, especially with gut diseases. Iron is hard to absorb, and red meat I tend to find is a common food that isn't that may cause more issues for some people than others, and that's a great source of iron. So of course there are other sources of iron, but if you're unable to eat certain foods, it's important to look for other foods that have those nutrients you're missing so that you don't get a lot of nutrient deficiencies.
So what are some good, so I know I've been anemic before I had my ostomy, I was using the restroom, like, let's be honest, raging bloody diarrhea, let's just say it, like 25 times a day. So I was definitely anemic. I had the B12 deficiencies. I had vitamin D deficiency. I had all of the deficiencies. What are maybe some of your top sources of those that are not where we would typically think we would find those?
Yeah, that's a really, really great question. And I can definitely send anyone who's interested a whole list of, all the iron foods or whatever nutrient you'd like. I'm so happy to do that. I think something that I like to mention with iron just specifically is that there are both animal-based sources of iron and plant-based sources of iron. But the thing about the plant-based is that our bodies don't absorb as much iron from them as from animal sources. We absorb 2 to 3 times more iron from the animal sources than the plant ones. But there are ways that you can boost some of that iron absorbed from plant sources. So that's definitely a big thing I'd recommend too, because I definitely don't want to discount the plant sources. Like, I think any source of iron, any extra boost we can get is great. But just for example, for plant-based sources of iron, when you consume them with a source of vitamin C at the same time, that is going to boost your body's ability to absorb the iron inside. So, one plant-based source people may be aware of is spinach. But when you pair it with vitamin C, so like lemon, lime, there, while citrus fruits are common ones, vitamin C can be found in a lot of other sources like strawberries, papayas. There are a lot of great vitamin C sources too. But yeah, my number one pro tip for plant-based sources of iron is to combine them with the vitamin C.
That's great.
I'm taking notes as you speak. That's awesome.
That's why Popeye's always drinking OJ with his spinach.
Is he?
No, he's not, but in my head he is.
He should.
Yeah. He should. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, I have another comment here. Question. Tina. Crohn's disease, 1998, permanent ileostomy in November 2020. Interested in hydration and weight loss now that I'm feeling better post-surgery. So that brings up, hydration. Hydration with all ostomates, and even just if you don't have an ostomy, I know before I had my ostomy, how my intestine was compromised, hydration was certainly a big issue for me. So
same.
Let's delve into the hydration a little bit.
For sure. So important. Well, I mean, I'm sure you've heard hydration recommendations before. 8 to 10 glasses of water. So that translates into 4 to 5 water bottles per day. Really my top tip, it's not rocket science, always have a beverage with you. When you have that visual cue, it's a reminder for you to drink. And, another pro tip for ostomates, it's ideal to drink throughout the day, not just down this whole thing at once. You're going to absorb more when it's in smaller quantities just throughout the day, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I know for myself, if I'm, especially in the summer, I'm thirsty and taking my daughter, we're at an amusement park, I will have backpacks full of my, I take Powerade with me everywhere, or Gatorade. But I find myself chugging it, and I don't know about you. It literally within 30 minutes comes right out. But sipping it a little bit throughout the day, although it doesn't like quench me, definitely works so much better for me.
Well, and I'll say that was one of the hardest things for me to adjust to with my ostomy is slowing down my beverage consumption. I have a high output ileostomy, and right after surgery, just everything I was taking in, even if I sipped it, just everything I was taking in was coming right back out immediately. But I was so thirsty, and I'm so used to guzzling my drinks. When you're thirsty, you just chug, 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 chug.
Yeah.
Hardest thing to train myself to slow down in drinking.
And I'm 14 years out from my surgery, and I still have to be like you said about having something visually present. Like, I definitely do better, but I also have to sometimes if I'm really busy with work and life, I have to leave myself a little Post-it note. We were talking about Post-it notes today, and that's one more thing I Post-it note.
But they were all in your head.
Yeah, today I was talking about mental Post-it notes, but I do actually have some because I need to we're so used to just being in a place and just doing what we need to do that sometimes we're not doing the best things for ourselves. So, and I know today I saw recently on your social media you had a great sports drink versus electrolyte, and a lot of us do need electrolytes, especially those of us with IBD, with or without an ostomy. So if you could elaborate on that, that would be amazing.
Absolutely. So tell me if this is too much science. Please feel free to stop me. I printed out, and I hope you can see this. This is just a little image of what it's like in our gut. So this gray part is our gut like lining. And then, oh, that's cool. Thank you. And this little guy here is something called the sodium glucose pump. And so the reason I bring that up is that when you're drinking just plain water alone, that's fine. But when you get really dehydrated, like say you're having a really high ostomy output, you've had a lot of diarrhea for, however long, like you said, the electrolytes you're going to lose in that output. And so in terms of this sodium glucose pump, the reason I bring that up is because the right concentration of salt and glucose activates these little pump guys, and which are in the lining of the intestine. And when these pumps are open, water can come through with the sodium and glucose and leaves the intestines and enters into your body's cells to hydrate you. So the only reason I mentioned it, and sorry that was like too much science,
Perfect.
but this can hydrate you more quickly than water alone when you're really dehydrated. So, those electrolyte drinks, which, ones I would choose are like Pedialyte, Hydrolyte, or maybe Drip Drop. If you're, really dehydrated, those are going to have that optimal combination of the glucose, the salt, and the water. And the reason it's important to have the right combination is too much glucose, so too much sugar, is going to cause diarrhea. Like that overwhelms the gut too. So if all you have around is Gatorade or like a regular sports drink, I'd highly recommend to dilute it, just so you don't make your diarrhea or high output worse. But yeah, if you don't have Pedialyte, Hydrolyte, or Drip Drop around, you can definitely make your own at home. If you're interested, I can send you the recipe. There are a lot of recipes out there, but those kinds of drinks are definitely when you're severely dehydrated can help you.
Yeah, I know that's Joe's go-to because of his short bowel syndrome. So
yeah, I make my own I use G2 and add salt to it, and I've been doing that for almost forever with my ostomy. So
yeah, like for me, it's a little trickier. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
So for me, it's a little trickier, and I know it's like not at all that recommended, but because I have a very broken pancreas and type 2 diabetes, I do like the Powerade Zeros, which works for me, and my team is all about it. And then when I'm really like we call it normal people. Oh, Joe's cat is clawing the wall. We call it normal people sickness. So like a cold or a flu, something that's not a chronic illness. I will go for the G2 with half a teaspoon of salt, whatever it is. Yeah. So yeah, it's amazing how well that works too.
Yeah, but I will say I really enjoyed the science lesson.
Oh yeah.
Along with the graphic, that was great. More, please. No.
Yeah. Science lesson. Joe and I are super into it. Okay, let's see what else we have, Joe. I'm gonna let you go. You're the master of questions.
Yeah. And I just, while we're looking through that, I just want to reiterate, we will throw up, if you haven't written down Danielle's information, I'll throw that up there.
Yeah, let's put up there while we dig through comments.
So you can reach out, follow Danielle on her socials, and check her out.
Yeah, so on IG and Facebook at eat.well.crohn.colitis, and on the web at eatwellcrohnscolitis.com. And again, she does more than just IBD, but just to put that out there. Joe, what else do we have here? I'm just reading through a couple of these.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this up just for general discussion.
Okay.
Tina says, I need to lose weight. Any good apps to use? Hoping to achieve remission and stay off meds. I can eat and and not have pain? Do I eat too much unhealthy stuff?
Yeah.
So eat too much unhealthy stuff.
What are your go-to good apps?
That's a really, really great question. Just for general weight loss, so this doesn't include like a symptom tracking effort or anything else, just for pure food entry and kind of the nutritionals. I really like Lose It. I feel like it's really straightforward, easy to use, user friendly. I feel like you both probably may have some IBD app recommendations. There are a few, I'm just getting them up on my phone here. There are some that some of my clients have told me have been helpful. Modulife, my IBD Care, IBD Healthline, but I'm sure you both can talk more to that.
Yeah.
I don't actually, honestly, like there's the Galley Health app is one that's pretty new and that people use a lot. I get a lot of information off of the Ostomy 101 app. And if anyone doesn't have that, that's a free app. It's amazing. There are events, there are lessons, there's classes, there are information, all of the information you can ever want to have an ostomy. As a caregiver of somebody with an ostomy, everything is on there. So Ostomy 101 in your app store or Google Play.
Yeah. And, we can always, we will certainly go back and on this video feed, throw some detail into the comments later after the broadcast tonight with additional information.
Yeah, we'll be sure to add some of that info.
So, and by the way, just Ostomy 101, speaking of that, they're in your backyard. They're in San Diego as well. Dawnette, the founder of Ostomy 101, is right there in San Diego.
Yeah, she just made a comment. Yeah, Ostomy 101 app.
So cool. I'm going to download it.
Yeah, it's really on here. It's the best. I have it right here on my phone. Joe, I'll let you read through, but it just looks like I hate there. Well, so I can tell you there's videos, blogs, podcasts, pouches and accessories, new and special features, navigating insurance, buying supplies, samples, coupons, everything that you can want.
Yeah, it's great. It's nonprofit and totally intended to be a one-stop shop resource for information for Ostomates. So it's great.
That's right. Okay. Let's see here. We had some people giving some suggestions. Rescue essentials for oral rehydration salts. Liquid IV. V8 hydrate. I just heard about that. My husband drinks V8 like it's going out of style. I can't do it because of my sugar, but that's cool to see that other people are doing the hydrate one.
Yeah, and I'm just going to pop this up here.
Sure.
Elizabeth, I think we may have already touched on this. What do you suggest for hydration if the amount of sodium in Gatorade makes me throw up? So, I mean, we talked, there are other options and other recipes and such you can go to, but I don't know this. Does Gatorade have way more sodium than is necessary to work that pump? Or is it just a matter of, the amount of sodium doesn't matter as long as the ratio to the glucose matches?
You're absolutely right. It's the ratio that's most important. Really my issue with Gatorade is just the sugar, the glucose in it. I'll have to double check the salt on the label to make sure I'm giving proper, correct information. But I know that Pedialyte is in the right combo already.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had Pedialyte. I can't remember if it tastes overly salty.
I mean, you drink salt in your stuff.
I do, but my salt taste is off. So I don't.
I have accidentally, when we've been traveling and there's only so many things that you can buy at the local Washington D.C. CVS, we get the same drinks, and I have picked up his before, and I'm like, because it's super salty. But when I'm sick, I don't notice the salt in it. It's like whatever it does to make it be okay.
But yeah. I guess, Elizabeth, yes, there are all kinds of options out there, and I would give Danielle a follow and maybe reach out to her and check out her website. So,
yeah, I'm not sure I'd recommend this for severe dehydration, but just, moderate everyday dehydration, just to stay on top of it. I make this 3-ingredient juice electrolyte drink that my husband really likes. He's a pretty picky eater. So it's just, a certain juice. I like grape. He likes grape. And then it has, water and salt. So if you want that recipe, I can send it to you.
Yeah, that would be great. We can share it with all of our followers on our social media platforms.
Talking about the diet restrictions, because obviously it's all personal to each person's health, disease state, specific disease,
type of ostomy,
surgeries, specifics. I know I had 2 intestinal resections before I had my ostomy surgery. And just with the progression of my Crohn's and the location, I'm sure the location of your Crohn's will affect it as well, whether you have upper digestive or lower digestive, certainly affect what you eat, how you eat, and so forth. But I know for me, surgically has been a big issue because of scar tissue and adhesions and things affect, because I get strictures and such. So that affects my ability to eat high fiber or, non-soluble fiber is an issue. I know, I'm just throwing this out there for discussion, because I know for me, I tend to, when I eat that, I hate it because I love vegetables. I love raw vegetables. I love salad I love salad. I used to always, when I would be on steroids, I would be, yay, I can eat salad now because the inflammation's under
It's
control.
really funny though, because he sent me this picture of salad yesterday and I was like, what are you doing? But he's recently had some dental, I'm going to tell everyone in the world, he's had some dental work issues, and he had in a steroid pack. And so I was like, you're having steroid salad. Like, I get that. And you know what another thing is too, like things that I could eat at the beginning of my ostomy journey. And again, like what he can eat, I can't eat, and what I can eat, he can't. It's amazing because there's so many people like who have like a very similar journey to me that can eat things I wouldn't dream of. But also, I don't know what it is, but the length of time. So for like the first 8 years of my journey, and this is usually a big no-no, I was able to eat mushrooms, which is one of my favorite things, until an incident one time in the holidays where I ate mushrooms in every single side dish to the point where I had a blockage I felt like I was birthing my 7-ounce baby out of my stoma, which can happen. But yeah, so like magically at year 8, I'm not able to eat them anymore. So, and you need to trust that. When you have an issue one time, trust it. And chew. That's my other advice. I'm not a registered dietitian, but you need to, and I always say it, especially to new ostomates. Joe's looking at me, look at him. He's looking at me like I'm crazy. He's like, I always say that you need to like chew down your food till you could almost sift it through your teeth, like baby food consistency. And that was one of the hardest things. We're talking about my Post-it notes at the beginning because I obviously talk a lot. But just talking, you're not chewing as well, especially if you're out to dinner.
Yeah, I
put that fork down and chew.
Yeah,
on tangents,
no, it's great. My chewing could be better.
You mean like when you tell me, "Hey, Danielle," I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. Once in a while, he's like, "Look," and he'll like show me his bag of poop, and he's like, "That's almost a whole strawberry." It's the kind of best friendship we have, by the way.
Not quite a whole strawberry. Not quite a whole strawberry.
I'm exaggerating a little bit,
but one of the things talking about how we eat differently. I know of all those things that I love to eat, the raw vegetables and everything. I make a modification and I can still eat them by cooking them down. So just touching on the fact that we can make modifications and still get in the foods we like, also just the foods that we need, the nutrients and stuff that we need.
Yeah. So, what other like good recommendations do you have for that? Like, besides cooking something to death, like do you have any tips, tricks, like life hacks?
Yeah. Gosh. Well, let's see. I wrote down 5 general guidelines, if that's helpful to share.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So, but before I get back to that, what you said about chewing, that like that is a really top tip. If you're seeing, you know, the contents, pieces of food in your output, it's a sign you really need to chew more. So good job. You figured that out. Yay.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's entertaining. I'm like, oh, when did that come out? What was that from? That got stuck for a while and I didn't chew it well enough. It's like a fun game. Also, I'm gross.
Yeah, I sometimes use corn as a tracer bullet. It's like
a tracer bullet.
Yeah, if you know what a tracer round is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I guess lunch is coming out now.
I think that's for most people.
Hashtag
or not.
Hashtag real talk. Okay, we're sorry.
No. That actually brings up a really good point. That I feel like we should all get more comfortable talking about our poop. Everybody poops, and it is my job, literally, to talk about poop. Speaking of that, some of my clients, when they start working with me, feel uncomfortable sharing, you know, what their poop looks like, what color it is. Tell me about texture and size and, you know, amount you're experiencing. So you all may have seen this or heard of it, but it's the Bristol Stool Scale or chart. So it can be an easy way to tell your healthcare provider, like, oh, I have type 7, you know, we're going to have this conversation now. Or, you know, it's different for stoma, of course, and depending on where yours is located as well. So maybe you won't find this applicable, but
is that
oh my God, Joe Teeters.
Is number 2 a Nutter Butter? It looks like a Nutter Butter.
I saw you posted the other day with the chocolate candy bars. It spoke to me. I love it. Yeah.
A Whopper, or is it like is it an Oreo type? Is it a nut cluster? Like
yum.
But yeah, that's awesome. I can't tell you how much I love talking about poop.
Yeah.
We talk about it so much we don't even realize the people that are around us sometimes, and it's fine. We're awareness.
It's definitely important, you know, sharing that information with your healthcare provider. So the more you can share, the more we can help you.
Awesome.
Excellent. And I just want to point out, shout out here to this is my niece, Morgan. She is also a registered dietitian.
So cool.
Yeah.
The family that talks about poop together, Joe, right?
We do. You
don't just share a last name; you share poop stories.
This is the truth. My Crohn's disease is as old as my niece. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease the same month my niece was born.
That's a fun fact that I did not know. I learned something new about Joe and Morgan.
Yeah, February 19th, okay. And
very specific. He's very specific.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Cool. All right. Sorry. We
digress. We apologize.
We derail things all the time.
We apologize.
I love it. No, it's great. Okay. So 5 general guidelines, I guess. So one is avoid skipping meals. You know, having 3 meals a day or even more, smaller, more frequent meals, 5 or 6 or however many, is ideal because you don't want to go long gaps between meals because it can contribute to gas production, which is often a complaint and something a lot of my clients experience. So yay, eating more often.
Yeah, whenever we have like speaking engagements and we haven't eaten all morning, I'm like, I refuse to eat before we get on stage, or there's going to be ultimate stoma awareness when Stella starts whistling. Whistle farts. See, I digress again. Go on.
And I'm sure you've heard these tips at some point or another, but 2 is avoid drinking out of straws because they allow air to be swallowed and can also contribute to gas production.
Great. Excellent.
Sort of off of that, try to eat slowly if you can, like we sort of talked about already. When you eat really fast, you can swallow more air, which can lead to gas too. And then chew also goes with that. And then drinking, adequate amount of fluids, hydration, like we mentioned. And then kind of the fifth tip, if you're thinking about adding new foods, maybe you just had the surgery and got the clear to kind of reintroduce some foods into the diet or adding fiber, I'd recommend to add them very gradually, so that you can really learn which foods may give you side effects and which may contribute to some excess gas or odor, constipation, or loose stool. Just really paying attention to how your gut responds to the foods.
Awesome.
Excellent. Those are all fabulous, fabulous tips. And I'm not doing a single one of them.
No, I just have to say, I wish I knew that list before I had my surgery, because and a lot of the times we learn the hard way. But those are all super good things to know. Danielle, will you message us those so we can put them on a story and put them in, and we'll link all of your information in as well, because I think those are such good tips and things that we just don't even think about nearly enough.
Definitely. Well, and I'll just take the opportunity to comment on great tips, and some of the things you hear from many different areas we're all aware of, especially if you've been a patient for a long time and been focusing on these things. But I will say, it's always hard to do the right thing, right? It's always hard to it's hard to slow down. It's hard to eat right. It's hard to, we know what we're supposed to do. We know what'll make us feel better, but it's hard to do it because we just want that cheese. We want that cheeseburger. We want that what have you.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. I know we have some questions. We promise we'll get to them, but I want to say, especially with when I got diagnosed with colitis, friends and family, they really want the best for you. But it's really interesting. And even after my ostomy surgery, it's so interesting because a lot of the things that I could eat, everyone thought was unhealthy. And so we have a lot of, family and friend interaction about that. Like, oh, you should eat more fruits and vegetables. I'm like, no, sometimes that might put me in the hospital, or, and so that is something for a lot of chronic illnesses, not just IBD and not ostomy related, but for a lot of us who have any autoimmune issues, that's always a huge, and I know that's sometimes it's kind of like a little trigger for me because I just bite my tongue and try to educate, which is what we can do. But yeah, any tips for how maybe people can let their friends and family know? I don't know.
That's weird. You're asking that, Danielle, for that tip.
I know, because I don't ever keep my mouth shut. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, I'm just saying that you have no problem letting people know things.
I do, but maybe some of our audience members don't have that non-filtered lifestyle like me. But yeah, I mean, honestly though, that is something that does happen a lot to people in our situations, and it's really difficult to try to have to keep explaining. Any tips on or things to make that easier?
Yeah, maybe I can just speak on behalf of my husband with Crohn's. He has, a list of trigger foods that he just, he's lactose intolerant, for example. We know if he has any dairy, it's going to be a bad time, And so it can be really tricky to communicate that to people, especially when, you're attending a family gathering, or, someone may not be thinking only about your needs. So, pro tip, if you feel comfortable communicating your dietary restrictions to the host or whoever, it can help them just be aware of the situation, and maybe they can have something you can eat there. And if not, I say if you want to bring your own dish so you don't starve, I'm for it. I know it may feel a little bit embarrassing, but it also sucks not to eat. So I love that you're able to assert your needs and speak up for yourself. You know your body more than anyone else ever can. So I would just keep keep the loop going. Here's what I can eat.
Advocacy, man.
And I just want to echo that and also acknowledge that it's so hard, right? It's hard, especially we're sitting here with 28 years in, and not just with the disease, but just aging. As we get older, it becomes easier to assert because we don't care, right? We don't care. But when we're younger, it's so hard. It's so hard when you're 20 something to show up at a party and be like, I can't do 9 out of these 10 things, So yeah, look, it's hard to do, but the earlier that, I wish I would have learned that earlier to advocate for myself and to not be embarrassed by it.
Or how about when your really good friend tells you not to eat the entire apple with the skin? We should probably take that into consideration so that 3 hours later during a conference, he calls me from another hotel room and tells me he's birthing an apple baby. And I felt bad for him, but I did say, I told you so.
I named him Johnny.
Johnny Appleseed.
I planted him in the forest.
That's amazing.
All fertilized, and he's growing in Virginia right now.
That's true. That is true. But anyways, but I said that story only because I just saw Carol's message that she put here. And that is true. We get, people who don't know our situations may look like if somebody saw me telling Joe, hey, don't eat that. That's stupid. That's a dumb idea. People are think, oh, you're degrading him. You're telling him what to do. Same thing here. Her husband was looking out for her. It's just something we all have to deal with. And yeah, I get it. I like to give dirty looks. That's my way of telling people to just not. As I like to tell you, I'm going to need you to not. I'm going to need you to just to not.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Karen had a really good question. I'm going to pop up here right above.
Gotcha.
Yeah. How long does it take for a reaction to food to show up? Like if we're keeping our journal, if we're trying to keep track of triggers and such.
Mm-hmm. That's a really, really great question. And it's a tricky question because, while short answer, sorry to I get bogged down by the science sometimes. Short answer is you could even see symptoms days later. So that's why, using the food journal is so important because it allows us, like a health professional, to go back and search for the trends for you to really find the pattern. So, we can see, 3 days later, you had this food. Every time you have that food, I'm seeing something that's happening a few days later kind of thing. But it can be right away or, even hours or days later.
Yeah, excellent. So the key there would be if you're keeping a journal, you're looking for a pattern over time, not just a one-time instance trigger. It's repetitive. It's repeatable.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
It's so hard, especially when even when I've done food journals, it's been really hard and difficult to pin things down. So any little bit that can help when we go see our physicians.
My food journal ends up being just a love letter to pizza.
Oreos. Sleeves of Oreos.
And sleeves of
That's awesome.
Late night issue with
it
Oreos.
says JT Hart Za.
Kind of off the food journal topic, the more specific you can be, the better, the more information you can get out of it. Of course, writing down the time you're eating the food and the time you experience the symptom, but also I would try and get as specific as you can about the food, the brand of the food you had, any interesting ingredients inside of the food. It can be very interesting to see what people can be sensitive to. Is it a food additive? Is it one weird little ingredient? So hopefully, if you can't find the trends, a health professional can definitely assist you with that.
That is a great tip, and I never would have thought about the specificity in the journal. A hot dog isn't a hot dog, right? Like mechanically separated chicken in one plant is not the same as mechanically separated chicken in another plant.
I don't enjoy talking about mechanically separated chicken, and that's why he's very good.
Sorry, no, but I'm serious. That's a great tip.
Yeah,
Thank you for bringing that up.
And two, I what I learned in some of my journaling, has been not only, specifically about foods, but exactly how I feel. Do I have a pinchy pain when I have that? Do I have a gas pain? Do I have, it's amazing, being sick for as long as I've been. After 28 years, I'm extremely specific about things, but that's been really, really helpful in having my GI be able to identify some things that kind of went over my head until I put it all together. So be specific in your journals about your pinchy pains or whatever you have.
That's a really great point.
Yeah, and we're coming up on the hour. We'll certainly.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I know.
Time flies. But any questions? Please pop them in. I'm just going down through here and looking to see what else we can touch on.
And while he's going through that, Danielle, I have a question for you for the future. I feel like we have gone over a very broad spectrum of things, but would you ever be willing and wanting to come back to go over very specific? Because it seems like we could go for days on just. We would love to have you back if you would like to.
Oh my gosh, I'm so honored. It would be truly my pleasure. I'm shocked by how quickly the hour went by, and I've had so much fun talking to you today. I would love that.
That would be awesome. Maybe we can even do a Zoom at some point so that you can PowerPoint, because I want to see more science. I don't know about you. Joe and I are totally into the science. So.
Yeah, we can certainly figure out how to make a PowerPoint or something work.
I'm sure it can probably be on here. We just haven't figured it out yet. So,
yeah.
Joe, have you found any more specifically nutrition questions? Anybody who has questions that are not nutrition related, feel free to message us in our DMs on any of our platforms, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, not a question. I'm just going to pop up a comment from Abby real quick.
Yeah. I second this. My husband, whenever I'm having a really bad flare, which doesn't happen as much with my ostomy now, but definitely prior to it and once in a while, but he calls me RoboCop because he says it's like he'll open the refrigerator and all of a sudden our daughter's almost 17 now. And you have little jars of baby food in there. And he says, I have a rudimentary digestive system like RoboCop. I'm a girl that's really not watched that movie, so I don't 100% know what he's saying, but he's like, Danielle, he has to eat baby food.
And yeah, the movie's also 40 years old.
Yeah, so whenever I'm having a flare up, it's basically baby food and RoboCop time. That's how we identify my flares in my house. Joe eats Oreos, I eat baby food. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally, Abby. I also do the juice. Well, I used to do the juicing a lot more before, but now, I mean, that's a great. But sometimes, how about, there's a question, Danielle. What about the sugar and juicing that many? I used to kind of go nuts with all of the juicing, and then I'm like, my output's shooting out of me. Not only because it's juice, but probably from the sugar, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's a really great question. Thinking about the natural sugars found in fruits and veggies too, when you're able to eat the whole fruit, the fiber in it is what slows down the sugar absorption into the bloodstream and, whatever. But when you lose that fiber, it is a high amount of sugar. So I think it's something to be aware of. One option would be maybe thinking about the different types of fruits and veggies you're juicing. Some have naturally higher amounts of sugar than others. Another thing could be just to look at portion size, or if you want to have a certain amount of fluid, maybe diluting it a little bit. So there are definitely a lot of options, but I think you're right that it's wise to kind of be mindful of.
Yeah, I try to do that, and I would add more celery, but I can't do that much celery and stuff. It's an acquired taste, I think.
I agree.
We are approaching the hour, so we're going to see no other questions popping in here. We want to thank you, Danielle, for spending this hour with us.
Thank you both so much for having me.
Yeah, and as Danielle said, we'll figure out that time and we'll have you back. And everyone, please check out Danielle's social, IG, Facebook, eat.well.crohns.colitis, or her website at eatwellcrohnscolitis.com.
Yeah, and before we bid farewell, if you want to share any more about your social media, your website, and your coaching availability.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Well, I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist in the US. So I have the license ability in the US to provide nutrition coaching and counseling for individuals. So if you're interested in, having a registered dietitian provide some guidance for you, kind of as Joe mentioned earlier, you've heard some of these guidelines and recommendations before, but it's my job to help you realistically and practically apply them to your life. I, you know, I want to be, it makes no sense for a health professional to just throw all this info at you if it doesn't fit with your lifestyle or doesn't make sense for you and your body. So I really pride myself in meeting a client where they're at and working on small, realistic, practical changes that we can make to hopefully help you meet your nutritional needs, manage your symptoms, and feel better.
That is
awesome.
Wonderful.
That's music to my ears, because I going into any of my clinician appointments, like, I love that back and forth, and you're amazing, and you just seem like you really hear everyone you speak to, and I appreciate that so much. So
that's beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
Round of applause.
Yeah, round of applause for Danielle.
And we will say goodnight and see you back in the green room after the show.
Yes, around and we'll chat with you afterwards.
Sounds good.
Wave.
That was
Excellent.
Amazing and awesome.
So much fun. Quite the gem of a human. I will say I'm always in awe. Danielle seems to be one of the many people that we're so fortunate to come in contact with, who has a real passion for the work that she is doing to help patients. Obviously, she has personal connection, as she said at the top, about her mom's experience, about her husband's experience. So that's certainly a driving force. But just being able to bring that to your work, really, me as a patient, we appreciate that.
Oh my gosh, more than appreciate that. I almost want to do
certainly.
like an interpretive dance to show my appreciation.
Yeah. So it's great. We hope you've all had a great time tonight. Very informative. We really appreciate you tuning in and interacting with us.
Yeah, and we're going to put some of Danielle's amazing tips up on our social media. So on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, perhaps. I'm not as good about the Twitter, but everything else. Yeah, we absolutely would love to share that. And some more. So next week, just going into our plans here for next week, I think we may have a surprise show, or we may take the week off. But come back, because we're planning on some fun for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, if you haven't done so yet, you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube at the moment. But if you haven't given us a follow us on @DoubleBaggingIt here at Facebook, Instagram, and on the Twitters.
And on the YouTubes.
And
on the interwebs.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
We're not on TikTok yet, but maybe one day.
I'm still trying to figure out Snapchat.
I don't even do that.
Yeah.
We're old.
Right. So is Snapchat now.
Yeah. What do we have? Anything else on there that we want to throw up, or no?
No, just
that's a good one. Put that one up.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Sure.
But yeah, so we may have a show next week. I'm not sure, but we may not. Stay tuned, but definitely for St. Patrick's Day. And we may be also hosting a couple of other non-double bagging functions. So stay tuned for more information about those. Yeah. You don't want to miss out. We're kind of everywhere. It's kind of fun. You just know you have no idea where we're going to pop up.
I couldn't get low enough to pop
I was like,
up
remember that time at IKEA? I have a picture. I'll post that. But yeah. Great. Anything else, Joseph?
That's it. Until next time, keep rocking out.
With your bags out.
Peace.
Peace out, kids.